We speak to so many of these people, right? They get to 3 properties, they might have an owner-occ, and then they have investments, but they've got no serviceability left, right? Generally what will happen is they'll have like 600K of debt on the owner-occupier, and then they might have 700,000 of debt on the 2 investments. And on those 2 investment properties, they might also have, let's just use another 700K of equity. So equity, for anyone who doesn't know, is the gap between what the value of the property is and how much debt you have. Okay, so in this scenario, they've got 700,000 worth of equity here. How much equity is in the owner-occupier doesn't actually matter. And they've also got 700,000 worth of debt. In a scenario like this, to be able to grow further, we actually have to take 1 or 2 steps back. What we do a lot of is restructuring, where we might sell down these 2 properties. We will then cash out that 700,000 worth of equity, minus expenses, obviously, like selling costs, etc. And then what we will do is we will use this to eliminate this $600,000 worth of debt, which means now we have no owner-occupied debt, which if you look here, we're getting back to a position where we can protect. So we have no owner-occupied debt, and because we sold the investments, we also have none of the investment debt. So now we get back to a square one position where we have a home. So let's say that that home's worth 1.5 million and it's got no debt, right? So we're back to the position of 0, okay? Maximum serviceability. So then again, we will use our protection mechanism, which is an entity. We will then start investing. Because we have no owner-occupied debt now, we've dramatically decreased our expenses, which will directly increase the serviceability. And then we will use the equity from this property to then use as deposits for stamp duty and costs and go buy assets inside of entities. So you've sold 2 properties off, you've gotten rid of any debt that was in your personal name, and then we go and start investing again. And you can build a portfolio 3, 4, 5 times as large by doing this, as opposed to just staying in your current scenario, which feels stuck, right? You've got a little bit of investment debt, you got a little bit of owner-occupied debt, but you can't make any more moves and you're tied up. So sometimes taking 1 or 2 steps back will allow you then to take 10 steps forward. And you also eliminate the owner-occupied debt that you pay for with after-tax income, which is a huge win. The restructuring process essentially follows this exact strategy. So if you are someone who's capped out, you need to go 2 steps back, and then you need to protect. Once you've gotten rid of the debt and obviously increased serviceability, you then need to go through and maximize income. So the future investments that you're buying, make sure you can get maximum rental income, and you want to minimize your expenses, which you've already done by eliminating your owner-occupied debt and any other expenses associated with that.